The life you're living today is simply a reflection of the thoughts you repeatedly thought yesterday. Every thought sends an electrical signal through the brain. Every emotion creates a chemical response in the body. And when we keep thinking the same thoughts and feeling the same emotions, we keep living the same experiences again and again. But if you want to change your life, you have to go beyond your familiar self. You have to break the habit of being you. This isn't magic. This is neuroscience. Today, we're not just going to talk about change. We're going to embody it. You will learn how to reprogram your subconscious mind, how to break free from the emotional addictions of the past, and how to create a future that's greater than your present. This is the science of changing your mind. And when you change your mind, you change your life.
Your personality creates your personal reality, a concept rooted not just in philosophy, but in neuroscience. Your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. These three components form the foundation of who you are. And because your life is a reflection of your consistent thoughts, actions, and emotions, your outer world is directly shaped by your inner world. If you wake up every day and begin to think the same thoughts, perform the same routines, and feel the same emotions as the day before, then by definition, your future is going to look exactly like your past. The brain becomes hardwired into patterns that reinforce your current personality, and this wiring becomes the blueprint for how you perceive and respond to the world. Over time, this automatic repetition creates a predictable life. But change requires breaking the cycle. To create a new personal reality, a new life, you must first become conscious of your unconscious self. You must observe how you think, how you behave, and how you emotionally respond to people and circumstances. Once you bring these patterns into awareness, you begin to have the power to choose a different way of being. Neuroscience has shown that when you begin to think differently, you can actually change the structure and function of your brain. Your brain is not fixed, it's neuroplastic. You are not doomed by your genes or your past. Every time you choose a new thought, a new behavior, or a new feeling, you're literally changing your brain's circuitry. Over time, these small, repeated shifts begin to form a new personality. And as that new personality stabilizes, your external reality begins to shift to match it.
To change your life, you must change your thoughts and emotions. Every thought you think sends out a signal in the brain, and every emotion you feel carries a chemical signature in the body. When thoughts and emotions align in repetition, they create a state of being, and this state of being becomes your identity. Most people wake up each day and immediately connect to the same thoughts and feelings they had the day before. They remember their problems, which triggers the same emotional responses, which then lead to the same behaviors. This cycle reinforces the current version of themselves and locks them into the same life experiences. True change begins when you disrupt this pattern. If you want to create a new outcome in your life, you must begin by thinking in ways you've never thought before and feeling emotions your body isn't used to feeling. This means choosing thoughts that align with your desired future, not your familiar past. When you begin to rehearse new thoughts, thoughts of possibility, gratitude, joy, courage, your brain starts to fire in new sequences. The body, which has memorized the past through emotions, may resist this shift at first, pulling you back into familiar feelings like fear, doubt, or frustration. But when you choose again and again to think and feel in alignment with a future you desire, the body begins to accept that new emotional signature. Over time, the brain and body synchronize to a new mind. This is how internal change precedes external transformation. The quantum model supports this as well. You must become the energy of the future you seek in order to attract it. Thinking greater than your environment and emotions is the key to breaking free from the patterns that keep recreating the same reality.
The subconscious mind runs 95% of your behavior, which means most of the choices you make, the reactions you have, and the habits you repeat are not consciously decided in the moment. They are programmed responses stored deep within your nervous system. From childhood, we are shaped by experiences, emotions, and conditioning that leave lasting impressions on the subconscious. These impressions become the mental programs that operate beneath the surface of awareness. So even when you consciously desire change, if your subconscious programming is in conflict with that desire, the subconscious will always win. This is why people set goals, make plans, or have moments of motivation, but find themselves falling back into old patterns without realizing it. The subconscious is faster, more powerful, and more automatic than the conscious mind. It's where your beliefs, perceptions, attitudes, and emotional associations are stored. To truly change, you must go beyond the analytical mind and enter into the realm of the subconscious. Meditation, mental rehearsal, and repetition of elevated emotional states are powerful tools for accessing this space. When you slow down brainwave activity, especially moving from beta to alpha or theta states, the door to the subconscious begins to open. In that space, new suggestions, new intentions, and new emotional experiences can be imprinted. The key is to create new associations in the subconscious that align with who you want to become. You begin by observing your automatic thoughts and behaviors, becoming familiar with the old self. Then, through intention and repetition, you install new patterns that eventually become just as automatic. When the subconscious starts working for you instead of against you, your external reality begins to shift without force. What once felt difficult or unnatural becomes effortless because you are no longer trying to change. You have already become the change.
Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. Your attention is the most valuable currency you have because wherever it goes, your brain follows and your life begins to take shape. Most people unconsciously focus their attention on what's wrong in their life, on their problems, their past, or external circumstances they cannot control. This repeated focus wires the brain into a state of survival, activating stress hormones and reinforcing emotional patterns of fear, anxiety, frustration, and doubt. The more you focus on these negative experiences, the more you invest energy into them, and the more real they become in your biology and in your external world. Attention is creative. It amplifies whatever it rests upon. When you place your attention on a desired future, a new possibility, or an elevated emotional state like gratitude or joy, you begin to signal new genes in new ways, activate new neural pathways, and shift the energy of your body into alignment with what you want to experience. This shift doesn't happen randomly, it's intentional. By learning to direct your attention inward through practices like focused meditation or mental rehearsal, you reclaim your energy from the outer world and begin investing it into the inner world of creation. This means pulling your focus away from people, places, and conditions that have defined your identity and redirecting it toward who you are becoming. It's about becoming conscious of where your mind automatically goes and choosing to guide it instead of letting it be pulled by habit or emotion. The longer you hold your attention on a clear intention combined with an elevated emotion, the more you broadcast a coherent signal into the field around you, which begins to influence matter and attract experiences that match the energy of your focus.
You must think greater than you feel to create real change. Most people live their lives thinking in response to how they feel. When they feel sad, they think thoughts that match sadness. When they feel afraid, their thoughts align with fear. This creates a feedback loop where emotions and thoughts constantly reinforce each other, trapping them in a cycle where change becomes nearly impossible. The body, which has memorized emotional states from past experiences, often leads the mind, signaling what to think based on how it feels. This is living by the chemistry of the past. To break this cycle, you must rise above the emotional signatures that have defined your personality for years. You must become aware that just because you feel a certain way does not mean your thoughts must follow. True transformation happens when you begin to think independent of your feelings. This is not denial, but a conscious choice to think greater than the emotional patterns of fear, doubt, unworthiness, or resentment. When you consistently hold thoughts of who you want to become, despite how you feel in the moment, you begin to signal new possibilities to the brain and body. The brain responds to the new mind, and the body eventually catches up, shifting its emotional state to match the elevated thinking. This process requires will, awareness, and repetition. It means no longer waiting for a change in your outer world to feel better, but creating an internal shift first and allowing the outer world to respond. Thinking greater than you feel is the foundation of becoming a new version of yourself. It is how you break the habit of being defined by your past and begin to construct a future based on vision, purpose, and intentional energy rather than emotional memory.